Welcome, welcome, welcome to another great episode of the CLI podcast, Create, Learn, Implement, because that is what we are here to do. Today, I have another great episode from business consultant and branding specialist, Suzeth Allen on the other side. See you there. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions, like how do I record an episode? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too. So you can get paid to podcast. So when I thought about starting a podcast, I had no idea how it worked. I don't know how I came across Anchor, but I did, and it was free and it was 100% easy to use. And I love to use it to connect to my audience. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Have you ever wanted to take your idea and turn it into a business, but wasn't sure if anyone would like your offer? Well, join my 5-week validated coaching program where I help you excavate your ideas, get clear on who your product is for, and get sales before you launch so you don't end up launching to crickets. The waitlist is open and there are only 5 spots available. You can sign up now by using the link in my bio, or you can go onto Instagram.com/IamKoyeda and use the first link in my bio. See you there. Guys, I'd like you all to welcome Miss Suzette Allen. Hey, girl.
Hey, Create. How's it going?
How are you? We had the pleasure of actually going to high school together. And I remember I did your hair back in the day. I don't know if it's when I started my business or when I was in high school. I can't remember. Do you remember?
In high school. I think it was high school.
Was it high school?
Yes,
Okay.
It was high school. Yeah. It was high school.
So
you remember?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we've known each other for a while. So I'm really excited to have you on the podcast because I've seen what you're doing and I think it's amazing. And I want you to,
Thank you.
You're welcome. I want you to tell your audience about who Suzette Allen is. Go ahead.
Oh, Suzeth Allen, jack of all trades, master of many.
Yes.
Right now, I am a business consultant. I assist business owners with structure, put in processes and policies in place so that they can have consistent income. I assist with branding as well. I'm a branding specialist. I really enjoy doing that. And that's essentially it. How I got started, I had my own event decor and planning company for over 6 years. I made the transition from my full-time job to my business full-time 2 years prior. And it was during that time I realized that my business was not in order as I thought. I was booked and busy. I had events every single weekend, multiple events.
Yeah.
But I didn't have my finances in order. I wasn't charging correctly. I didn't have a structure. I was feeling very, very overwhelmed. And I thought that quitting my job would help put things into perspective, but it didn't at all. And so it was at that point I realized that I had to change everything. I had to rebrand. I had to change my prices. I had to put structure in place in order to make my life a lot easier. Not easy, easier, and just to have a better balance. I had 2 young children at the time, and it was a lot. And through doing that, and of all the, I don't like to say mistakes, learning lessons, is when I decided a couple years later to do business consulting. I was naturally helping a lot of people in the decor and event industry with their business. I have an extensive background in customer service,
Mhm.
and I decided to take it full time. I actually got into a car accident why I couldn't end up doing the core stuff anymore. I physically
Ooh,
wasn't
yeah.
capable, but that's when I transitioned into doing the business consulting, and I've helped. Well, it's been just over a year now. I've helped over almost 120 businesses do different things, whether it's
Yeah.
branding or consulting. So it's been going really well. There's actually a huge need for it, as you would know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely. I
my
love
long short story.
That's okay. We need to know who you are because it's you're addressing new audience. So we
Yes.
need to know, what you're all about. And
Yeah.
you answered one of my primary questions, which is what led you into entrepreneurship. So I'm glad um, you're able to
Yeah.
do that. Now with COVID and people losing jobs, you understand the importance of pivoting. So tell our audience how important is it to pivot?
Well, I think COVID forced people to pivot. I think pivoting is something they should always have in the back of your mind,
Mhm.
um, just in case. Because I mean, who thought COVID would happen? Like something
Right.
as huge as COVID that affected the entire world, literally. So I think that when it comes to entrepreneurship, that you have to be good with knowing how to bounce back and pivot. So a lot of times, especially where I flourish in my business, a lot of businesses didn't have that backup plan. They didn't have anything to turn towards or a plan B. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of where I came into play because I'm really good at coming up with solutions for problems. No
Mhm.
matter what industry or what field, I'm really good at that. And I think that it's important to assess your situation and then look at your environment and say, okay, what can I do? So, COVID hit, it turned the entire world upside down. Well, what's next? What can we do? Do we have to move our brick and mortar store to online? Do we have to change our in-person meetings to now virtually, which is what most of the world switched to, right? A lot of things are now virtual. You can order your groceries online and go and pick it up. So I think that just having an open mind and knowing that, okay, having a plan B is extremely important because you can't actually control what's going to happen in the future. We could plan for it,
Yeah.
and I think that that's exactly what we need to do and keep in the forefront, but we can't control it. We thought that COVID would have been done by now. We're going on
Right.
to,
Right.
you know,
We're going on to what? The
go
second or
over
third
it,
month now?
right? And
Yeah.
all that's happening is that more variants are being born.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this never ending story. So I think that now it's just you have to have an open mind and be ready to pivot and look at what are your options for pivoting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now you work with
Yeah.
business owners to make their business stand out, in terms of marketing, branding, automation, and so forth. So
Yeah.
what are some mistakes that we're making? What are business owners doing that we need to fix?
Okay, well, I'm speaking from experience because all the things that I help my clients with are things that I did, so I'm easy to recognize it. The number one thing I would say, there's actually two things, is one, trying to do it all on your own, and secondly, not investing in your business.
Yeah.
So, as a business owner starting out, by default, we do everything our own. We are our social media, we're the customer service, we
Yeah.
are the everything from front to end of our business.
Mhm.
But when it comes to investing, I think, like I said, from my experience, you have to look at, okay, when is it a good time for me to invest into a CRM system? When is it good for me to invest into automation or into an assistant or the accountant? That's a big one.
Yeah.
At what point in time do I stop using QuickBooks and get a real live person to start managing my bookkeeping? And so what ends up happening, because we're trying to do it all ourselves, which is not efficient,
Mhm.
we tend to, live, as the Caribbean would say, hand to mouth and not having, income to say invest, or at least we think we don't.
Mhm.
And the biggest thing I would say on top of both those things is your mindset. You know,
Mhm.
um, a lot of my clients, oh, I can't afford it, I don't have the money, and I'm like, okay, well, let's look at how we can get the money. It's about the glass being half full. So right now, you may not have enough money, but you've been in business for 10 years. put aside the fact that maybe it boils down to financial planning, or are you charging correctly? There could be so many variables, but how can we fix it? That's my default. It's like not the actual problem, but how do we fix it? That's my focus, a solution. So a lot of times as business owners, we tend to just focus on the problem and not the actual solution at hand.
Yeah. When do we know we need to get the extra help? Now, is it like a money figure, or like when, in your opinion, do you think when
I
do we
definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't say it's a money figure, because like I said, a lot of business owners, we tend to mismanage money.
Yeah.
I think the reason behind that is because a lot of us, we start out of, well, many women start out because they're on mat leave. I know both my businesses were from being on mat leave and trying to supplement your income, and then it grows much bigger than you planned, and you don't have a plan. And so you're just kind of, like I said, living paycheck to paycheck, and you're not seeing the rewards of your business.
Yeah.
And because of that, we're not doing a research to say, okay, how much should I charge as a hairdresser? How much should I charge as a business consultant? And because of that, we aren't pricing properly, and then we don't have the money in the investment. So I don't think finances would be a good point, because I don't think that's a point that we would see in the beginning. I think that when you realize that you're feeling extremely overwhelmed, where you're taking a long time to reply to emails, if you're taking a long time to post, if you're not being consistent with yourself and your business, that it's time to now hire someone, whether it's a business consultant, cough, cough, to help you structure yourself, or if it's, like I said, an accountant to help you manage your money, or a financial planner to, make sure that you are utilizing your money appropriately. It could be a web designer. A lot of us start out doing our own websites, but then at some point, again, when you start to increase and change your plan, I think it's important that you need to now upgrade, right? So it's about recognizing, and I think it's a feeling more so than just knowing, okay, let me do it now. You see that, like, for me, when I was doing my decor, I was booked and busy, quote unquote, every single weekend. Like I said, multiple events, but I couldn't see the money because I wasn't charging right. And then I still felt so overwhelmed. So now I felt like I'm working myself like a dog, and yet I'm not seeing the rewards of it, the financial rewards.
Yeah.
So there's many factors, but I think that the biggest one I would go with is the feeling of overwhelm.
Okay. That's a big one. That's like a business owner is naturally feeling,
It is, especially as women. We have so many things naturally going on. We're mothers, we're wives, we're girlfriends, there's so many things, we're employees, and to throw in a business on top of all of that. And a lot of us by default think we're superwoman, and we just tend to like, okay, yep, I have another pair of hands that I can use to start this business. One of my clients, she had 4 kids, worked a full-time and a part-time, and was running a business. I'm like, when do you sleep? I'm really big on self-care, because at the end of the day, again, from my own experience and experience in burnout and depression and anxiety, if you keep stretching yourself thin across the board, you're not going to be efficient, and you're going to burn out. And it's harder to recover from being burnt out and depression and all these things that you basically bring on yourself because you didn't structure yourself or hire the help that you needed when you should have.
But as you said, it's all about the mindset surrounding that, right? So that's something
exactly
we're going to need to work on. So based on what and your clients that you work with, would you say that entrepreneurship is for everyone?
Definitely not. No, not at all. It goes back to 100% of your mindset. You may sound repetitive, but it definitely boils down to your mindset, because at the end of the day, I could be a talented baker, for example. I can bake cakes, they're delicious, they look gorgeous. That does not make me a good business person. I can be a business owner, but I'm a business person. And that's where you need to recognize, okay, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses, and who do I need to hire or have in place to assist me in complementing my weaknesses? So if you have that mindset, then for sure, I think you definitely can become a business owner. But if you are, I never make enough money, I don't have it, I can't, then no, because one thing with entrepreneurship is that things never stay the same. That's like the world we live in. It's not just
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. People don't like change, and things
Yeah.
are forever changing. So your schedule's going to change, your availability is going to change, your time is going to change. You won't be able to hang out with friends as much. There's so many sacrifices you have to make as an entrepreneur. And if you're not ready to do that and let go of certain things mentally, then that's going to hold you back from success. So can everybody think they're entrepreneur or a boss lady? Sure. Everybody thinks that. You see the post on Instagram all the time. But
Yeah, true.
are you a good entrepreneur?
True.
So yeah.
So is there such thing as a quick fix in business? Can we just like slap this together and boom, we're good?
No, I don't think so. I think that there are efficient ways of doing things and sometimes complicated ways. Like I said, for example, starting out, should you, wait to get your website professionally done and spend $4,000 or $5,000 upfront that you don't have, or should you start out and build your own website to begin with?
Yeah.
A lot of people will say, oh, I'm just waiting to launch my business till when my website's done. I'm like, okay, when is it done? Well, I haven't started yet because I don't have the money. And I'm like, well, you can go on Wix and do one for $50. I mean, it's not the greatest, it's nothing compared to a professional one, but at least you're starting. And I think that once you build that momentum and then you start to see that people are coming in and you're marketing yourself really, really well, then yeah, do the upgrade in a year time, for example. So I don't think there's necessarily a quick fix to it. I think that it's about planning right and then pivoting. And that usually requires work.
Absolutely. You can't avoid the work. That's the one thing I think people like to avoid work. you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. They do.
There's just no workaround.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can't, pardon my French, you can't half-ass anything if you're going to do it properly. If it's your business and you want to do this full time and you're willing to invest into it, invest all the way. Don't just do a little bit. Go in 100%.
Now, you mentioned that you were, you do still do decorating, event decoration. How did you discover that you had that talent?
Well, it started on mat leave. When I had my son and his first birthday. I've always had a creative side to me. But when I had my son, I wanted to have this big elaborate Elmo birthday. It was more for me than him because he was just a baby. And I called a couple decorators and this is another mindset. I called a couple decorators, got some price, and I was like, what? I'm not paying someone that kind of money and I can do it myself. And so I did. It was a lot of work. And I'm like, oh, I see exactly why they charge what they do. And so from doing that birthday party, my friends came and, wow, who did this? I'm like, I did. And then they said, okay, well, I want you to do my kid's birthday. And I started doing my friends, and then their friends and their families would come. And a business that I didn't even think of, plan, came alive overnight. Well, overnight meaning about a year. And then I was getting people that I didn't know calling me to say, hey, you did my cousin's son's birthday party, or you did my cousin's baby shower, and I want to know what your prices are. My prices, okay, $300. And I would just throw out random numbers because I didn't have a plan for this. And so, and then, I started to get busy because now my business was about, I would say, 75% referrals. I got to the point where I didn't have to advertise anymore. I was just getting repeat clients. I would do their baby shower and then do their child's first birthday, and it kept going on. I'd do their bridal shower, then do their wedding. And so a lot of my clients were repeats and referrals. And so I got so caught up and this business grew overnight. I didn't have time. I was doing weddings for $500, like a full wedding. Backdrop, decor, centerpieces. Yes. And that's what I'm saying, that at the time I was working, and silly me, I only had the one bank account. So I would check my account. I'm like, okay, good, nothing bounced. Yeah, okay, cool. Mortgage came out. I wasn't aware that, man, that was not a $500 wedding. That was like a $4,000 wedding. It wasn't until I quit my job and I was doing my business full time. I remember my exact aha moment. I did 3 weddings that weekend. I think my total income was about $3,500. And to me, coming from doing a $500 wedding, that's big money. I dropped off my linen to get it clean, and my my cleaner gave me a bill for almost $800 for that weekend for the 3 weddings. And I nearly choked. I was like, oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
$800? And I was like, wait, hold on. How much did I make? And that's at that point, I had to sit down and actually go through all my expenses. And could you believe I was in a huge negative? I was in a deficit
Yeah.
because of what I charged and what my expenses were, but I never actually looked at it before.
Mm-hmm.
And had I been working still and everything was coming in and out of the one account, I would have never realized that. And it sounds silly to say that after 4 years, that was my 4th year of business that I went into it full time, that I and realized that. And I had to look back at everything. I was so caught up in the business that I was my own accountant and I was the everything. I didn't have time to look and assess that I wasn't charging. And a friend of mine from the industry, I showed her pictures of the wedding and I asked her, how much would you charge for this wedding? And she's like, 5,000. She didn't even blink. Yeah. $5,000. And I said to her, I charge $750. And I felt so low and embarrassed.
Yeah.
And when I transitioned to be a business consultant, I thought to myself, and this is our mindset because our mind's always playing games on us.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell people the mistakes that I made. How could I tell people that I had one account, I didn't have a business account, and everything was put into the one, and I'm a business consultant? Like, that's terrible. Mm-hmm. And when I first came out, I was really, I was really speaking from a place of someone that is experienced, but not the type of experience you would think. Experience like, oh, I went to school for this and I know what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. Not from, I made 1,000 mistakes and this is why I know what I know. Yeah. And it wasn't comfortable. It didn't sit well with me. And I remember I was doing a live and it just came out where I started talking about a mistake that I made. And it felt so good because I felt like I was hiding inside of me and internalizing it. And I felt like I was living like this double life. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, I said, this was really good because then people in the live were saying, oh my goodness, I've done that. And people started to resonate with me. And that was a huge turn for me where I think my realness is where people tend to connect with me better because I'll say, yeah, I know exactly what you're going through. I understand about not wanting to invest and about wanting to keep everything for yourself and not want to take money out of your own pay because it feels like you work for free. But at the end of the day, if you invest $1,000 into whatever it is to get business consultant, and now you can turn around and make 5,000, 10,000, mm-hmm. What is that investment worth in the end versus you struggling to make ends meet? So, that was a huge turning point for me there to kind of realize that I need to be honest with myself and be honest with my audience and my clients.
Absolutely. And I think, Instagram kind of helps paint that picture of perfection. Yeah. And so it's easier for you to just go along with that than kind of, be honest about your story. So
exactly.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure from social media. Like social media, I have this love-hate relationship with it because it's one of those things that if you utilize it on a business level, mm-hmm. It's an amazing platform. There's money to be made, but if you get too caught up, it can be disastrous because then you can fall into depression and, oh, wow, look, Claire's making it and I'm not. And I've been doing it way longer than her. And what is it about her that I don't have? And then, you fall into depression versus, again, looking to the solution and saying, okay, well, what can I do to elevate my business? So it's a very thin line when it comes to social media.
Absolutely. Not everything is what it seems.
Not at all.
That's what we need to understand about social media.
Yeah.
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 Sure.
Yeah.
Now,
not everything that glitters is gold.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes it's just glittery dust.
Glittery, exactly. Dust on gold. Yeah.
Right. Now, you're a woman with, I would say you have a big, bright personality. Mm-hmm. And, we know about, introverts and things like that. So how important is personality in your business or in a business?
It varies depending on the type of business that you have.
Yeah.
I know that most businesses, I encourage my clients to reveal themselves. A lot of times they want to hide behind the product and they say they don't want to show themselves. Mm-hmm. It's about coming out your comfort zone, right? Right now, I tell my clients that I specifically support certain types of business. If it's a local business, I am more likely to want to spend there. Mm-hmm. If it's let's say someone who makes jewelry. I'd rather buy something from someone local than to purchase on Amazon, for example, because I know that, oh, Hueda is in the same area. She's in Toronto as well. Okay, I want to buy from her. And then there's the obvious Black movement and just supporting your own community as well. So I encourage my clients to, one, show themselves, because people will want to support you because of who you are. One. Two, it's important to connect with your audience. And I think that if you don't connect with your audience by showing who you are, you become very salesy, right? If you are not, if you're only promoting your products and buy, well, you're gonna just look spamsy, you know, which the world is overfilled with that already. So I encourage my clients to step outside of their box. There's different ways about going with showing yourself online. You could do reels. You don't have to come out talking right away. I know, like I said, you said, sorry, I have a big personality. I wasn't always that way. I was very timid with my decor business. I never showed myself for like the first 3 years. I'd only post my weddings, and I slowly started to show myself and show behind the scenes. And then I would, you know, come on camera. Okay, guys, I'm setting up so-and-so's wedding today. Here's behind the scenes. And I started off with just one-liners, and then everyone's like, wow, you know, that's so cool to meet you. And people started to connect. And then I started to slowly, hey guys, look at the wedding. Tell me what you think. 2 lines now.
Right.
And now I'm nonstop chats. But it's a matter of just kind of coming out your comfort zone and working your way up, and just connecting with your audience, because you want to make sure that there's a real person there. It's not just some bot that's selling products upon products. Like, we're so overwhelmed with that. People want to connect with people now, especially with COVID and all the restrictions. You don't get to see people. One thing that I think it's happened not one thing, it actually happened a number of times, is I've been in public places, like the grocery store one time, was the decor store one time, was a hair store, and people have come up to me and made me feel like a little celebrity. Like, are you Sue? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm looking at them like, I don't know you. I remember faces, not names. I remember faces. And and they told me, they've all said to me, yeah, I see you online. I follow you. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm not nobody. I'm like, no, you're so fun. And one lady said to me, I feel like I'm your friend and I don't even know you.
Yeah. Yeah, you give that vibe for sure.
Yeah. And I think that hearing that really gave me more, it poured into my cup to say, okay, I have to do this, even though I don't want to. It's exhausting to have to be online. I'm sure you know.
100%.
Those videos, man, and I have to edit it, and you know, it's very exhausting. But I know that it helps the business and it helps clients as well with connecting with them, and just, even if they're not my client, just speaking from the heart really helps. So pushing yourself out your comfort zone. If you're shy, timid, introvert, just figure out ways on how you can kind of slowly start to show yourself and come out your comfort zone.
Yeah, because, you know, it's definitely an evolution of you, you know, and your business. Like, everything's growing. So you won't be shy and timid forever, but you do have to start somewhere for sure.
Yeah. And once people start to talk to you, and one girl's like, oh, I think I recognize you because your signature ponytail. I'm like, really? Like, this tired thing that I put in because I don't want to comb my hair. And it's funny that the things that you think are simple, people are actually recognizing it. And then when you hear that, it gives you a next level type of energy. Like, I want to do this now.
Yeah.
You know, so
sure.
I would definitely encourage it.
Yeah, it's become like the Sue look, right?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
You should trademark it.
Yeah, you should. Listen, there are different ways to
package it.
Exactly.
Oh goodness.
Now, you work with a lot of clients, and you work in a lot of different spaces. And I know you have the Connect with Sue. Where you're featuring different businesses. Is that the one, right?
Yes. Exactly.
What's the value of networking?
Oh, well, value of networking. You increase your net worth when you network. For example, going back to my other business, you know, that was 100% networking. Networking is the same as referrals, right? Yeah. So what I may start off on my own or with a friend who sees my work, and now they they now tell their network. So meanwhile, I may only know 20 people, my friend knows 100. So now she's going to talk about me to her 100 friends. And now her 100 friends are going to talk to their friends. And then, I go from 20 to, 2,000 people now hearing about my business, for example.
Yeah.
So I had my networking event November 20th, and it was amazing. I was very strategic on it. I wanted business owners to connect with each other. Again, just the entrepreneurship journey is a very lengthy one. It's a hard one. So many challenges along the way.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's a lonely one.
It's a lonely one. It's a lonely one. And no matter what industry you're in, we all are the same. We all have a client that drives us nuts. We all have, the day we're supposed to do something for a client, then our kids get sick and what do we do, or a vendor canceled on us. We all have the same trials and tribulations. And I think that it's important that you don't go through the journey by yourself. So, you don't necessarily have to get a business consultant or a business coach. You can connect with a fellow business owner and you guys can vent to each other. You can figure out challenges to solutions to challenges with each other. Even if we're in the same industry, I'm very big on people helping out each other. For example, you and I do the same thing. And so, I think it's really important that you're connecting, because I may have a way of doing things that you didn't think of doing and vice versa. And we're talking to each other like, hey, I didn't know that there's enough to eat. I don't have to be worried about, someone might copy me. And what if she takes my client? No, who's meant for me will be. Who's meant for you will be for you. And a lot of times, again, going back to mindset, we have this mindset where it's closed-minded, and it's like, well, I don't want to tell anybody my secret because they might copy me. And no, you can tell somebody your secret, but then there's a way that you can, make sure that send them an email. Now you have proof that it was your idea. Write them a letter. There's certain things if you're that concerned, but you holding things in and not wanting to be out and open is actually working not in your favor. So many times for myself, I'll tell somebody an idea and I'm like, okay, I don't know where to start. This is what I want to do. And they're like, I know somebody who does X, Y, and Z, for example. And then you start to connect. It's like, oh, sure, you do. Can I get their number? And then boom, you have another person in your circle that can help you with what you need to get help with, or you can help somebody else with something that they need help with. And then you guys feed into each other, and you never know. Again, going back to referrals, it's a huge thing and it helps their business. So networking is extremely important on any level. I think that a good business owner will take every and any opportunity to talk about their business, as it presents itself. I've met people in the mall, like, cashing out, and I'll mention it, not in a tacky way, but like it comes up. And one guy, I was at H&M, a young kid. And I said to him, oh, I like your t-shirt. And he's like, oh yeah, I designed it. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, I'm getting into the, to design t-shirts. And I go, well, you're really great at it. And I'm like, what's your Instagram? And we started talking, and boom, he ended up hiring me to help him with his business, start doing business consulting. Simple conversation. I didn't plan for it. It wasn't anything intentional, but it happened and there was an opportunity. So I think that it's good to always network, always be ready to network, because you never know when it might present, an opportunity might present itself.
Perfect. So you got to be open. You got to be ready.
Open and ready. Yes.
Awesome. Now, would you say we need more coaching, mentoring, strategists? What do you think we need more of, and why?
You mean like for there to be more coaches, or do you mean entrepreneurs should get more coaching?
Yeah, like you work with you're more like a strategist, a consultant.
Yeah. Yes.
So based on what you see, do you think we need more coaching for business owners, more mentoring?
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. 100%. I think that coaching is needed, because like I said, you can be a great baker, a great hairstylist, a great designer, but you don't have an actual plan. You're just doing it. Again, I was that person. So everything you do with your business should be intentional. The times you post, what you post, when you post, how often you post. People are like, oh, I'm tired, I'm just busy, I don't have time to post. I'm like, there's one thing I'm doing before I go to bed is making sure my posts are loaded and ready to go. Because I know that the more I post, the more visibility I get, the more bookings, right? It's all connected. I don't just post to entertain people. And that's part of it, but
Yeah.
the main reason,
Yeah.
the main reason is to ultimately get more visibility and clients. So I think that with coaching, people have to understand the why they're
Yeah.
doing something versus it just feel like a job. I'm not, people say I'm not a social media person. I'm not really big online. I'm like, where are you big? This is why your
Mhm.
business isn't growing. You have to be online. No, I'm not a social media person. I go, it's not you, it's your business,
Yeah.
and even when I was saying that you need to show yourself online, you're showing your business. Like I don't come on there like, not too often to talk about my personal life. I'm out there talking about my business, right? So I will talk about, for example, the Let's Talk Business.
Yeah.
That's me talking with other business owners about their business,
Yeah.
giving them exposure, giving myself exposure. It's networking, right? And people don't realize that with lives.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you may have 10,000 followers and I have 2,000, but now I'm doing a live with you. I'm now being exposed to your 10,000 followers,
That's right.
networking,
Yeah.
right? Because now I'm getting the exposure. So that is strategy. It's not, it's not just for fun or out of boredom.
Hmm.
It's all strategy. So I think that business owners, entrepreneurs definitely need coaching, especially where you lack certain things. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. I just know what I know.
Right.
Um, and that's where I come into play, where I have a network of people that I work with.
Yeah.
For example, I have a lawyer, two lawyers actually that focus on business law. So if one of my clients say, okay, I need a contract, I can give you ideas as to what should be covered. But, on an official basis, here's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's part of my network, right? That's part of the value that you're getting when you come to me, is that I'm not just saying, okay, this is all this that. No, I know I don't know everything. And I
Yeah.
think that's as part of you recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses. I'm really good at problem solving. That's my, like you said, strategist.
Hmm.
But I'm not the greatest at writing out a whole contract so that your butt's covered if someone tries to sue you. Nope, I'm
Yeah.
not going on the road.
Yeah.
I know you should have a contract. There's some elements I believe you should have, but here's a lawyer. So
Yeah.
it's all part and parcel where it's 100% needed.
Yeah. It's about knowing your lane.
Yeah, exactly. And sticking to it and then connecting with people who can complement you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now we know as entrepreneurs, sometimes we get insecure. Sometimes, things don't work out like we think they're supposed to work out, and you kind of lose that, little zest, a little part of yourself. So, how important is it to believe in yourself, no matter what, even if things don't work out? Like, how important is it that we believe in what we have to offer, things like that?
It's really important. It's the first, I keep saying everything's the first. So believing in yourself and then mindset. Okay. So
Yeah.
I would say it's actually number one is believing in yourself and then your mindset, because I think that the moment you believe in yourself, your mind will be like, no, you can't do it. Yes, I can. No, I can't. So
You're
believe in
wrestling.
yourself. I'm sorry.
You're wrestling with yourself.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And before then that's stagnant. Because if you can't believe in yourself, then who else is going to believe in you?
Hmm.
If you're trying to sell a product, I talk about confidence, which is the same thing as believing in yourself. Confidence is huge. If you're selling a product or a service and you don't look confident, I'm not going to buy from you, because you don't even look like you trust yourself and
Yeah.
the service. So
Yeah.
why would I spend my money and take a chance on you? So it's really important to believe in yourself and to have a plan. It's not about, people just saying out loud, I'm gonna make it big and I'm gonna be a boss babe. And okay, what are you gonna do to get there?
Hmm.
And you believe that you can. So it's the number one final answer to, to starting out as an entrepreneur, is to believe in yourself and then make sure you have the right mindset to go along with it.
Perfect. Yeah. The key thing that you keep talking about is mindset. So
Yeah,
I know
it's
mindset
huge.
is really important.
Oh man, you know why? Again, because I used to go through it. The moment that if I spoke to a client from their wedding and I felt really good about it, they liked me, and then I wouldn't hear from them. They would ghost me. It would turn my entire world upside down. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Create didn't book with me. I didn't hear back from her, and she said she liked me, and she said I would hear from her, and then I wouldn't want to do anymore because I was so emotionally involved in that.
Yeah.
Whereas it's business. You
Mhm.
don't you don't have to. Maybe she couldn't afford me.
Yeah.
Maybe I mean back then it was $500. So maybe she found somebody else that was better. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, whoever meant for you will be yours. I've had clients who just, again, from referrals, I had one client, kid you not, she came, this is before I had a place, I was doing it at my home. She
Yeah.
came over and she walked in with her checkbook and she sat down. She goes, look, I'm not here to talk about my wedding. You're hired. I'm like, okay. She goes, you did my cousin's wedding. It was fabulous. I don't care what you do. I just want it to be black and white. And she goes, it's 5,000. Okay. This is when I was doing $500 weddings, eh?
Ooh.
I was like, huh? I was like, part of me is like, oh, Suzette, you can't be overcharging her. That's what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, just write me a check for $1,000 deposit. And she's like, okay. She's like, you don't want the five? Oh, and this is like a client, just like God just put her there for me right there and then.
Right.
And I was like, I mean, yeah, go ahead. I needed the money. I don't know why I was acting like that.
Right.
But I was charging 500. That's what I felt my value was, because my mind, I didn't believe that I was doing a great job. She saw that I did a great job, and she saw, man, 10 times more than what I saw myself. My mind was to charge $500. She's like, is 5,000 enough? Or like, and she was asking me, is it enough? Like, she was willing to pay more.
Right.
That's where it kind of goes back to like believe in yourself. When I compared myself, which is something you should also do in a good way, is as a benchmark, not to compare yourself and put yourself down. But when I compared my style of decor and the quality to what other decorators were doing, they were charging way more than me. I was like, well, hold up, come on now. You charge what for what? And that's where like everything started to change for me, because I didn't see the value in it. I didn't plan for this business. I didn't believe that I could make it an actual business. I was just doing it for fun. It was something that I like to do. So, you know, it all makes a huge difference in terms of, you know, how you plan things out and how you go about it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That belief in self is key.
It's a big thing. Huge.
You're a mother.
Yeah.
2 beautiful children. Clients. So, you know, we're online schooling. So it can all become a lot. What is your self-care routine? How does Suzette take care of Suzette?
Suzette does not play. When it's time for me to take time out, I have my my immediate caregivers where I'll say, okay, this is your turn. I need a break. Again, it's that feeling of overwhelm. It's about recognizing when you're feeling overwhelmed and addressing it before you actually get to that point. So if I know that, okay, it's gonna be a busy week for me and I need to do a lot of work, then they'll go by their dads. If I know that the weekend I have a lot of stuff to do, then they go by my mom. So I don't joke in terms of offloading my kids when I need to, when there's need. But at the same time, you know, I'm a mother, so I can't do it too often. I just know that, okay, I might need it this week. So it's about knowing the balance in terms of how much can I take? If it's workload, I know that, okay, I might have to put a pause on it, and I'll tell my clients I'm not available this week because I'm just too overloaded. For example, back to school this week, I didn't take on any new projects. Like, I made that very clear. And then the projects that I had going, I finished most of them up by before the holiday, because I knew that the holiday I wanted to spend that with my family. So it's about again, planning and measuring, you know, everything. Don't just keep taking on, which I used to do. I used to take on weddings and events and say yes to everybody. One time I booked 3 weddings back to back because I just kept saying yes. I wasn't looking at my schedule, wasn't considering anything. I remember one time I was packing up to get ready for a wedding, and my son's like, oh, mommy, I guess I won't see you for the whole weekend. And I felt so horrible because at the time I was working full time. So I was working during the day. And then by the time they got home, it was just enough to, like, you know, make dinner and put them to bed. Then I was doing my emails at night. Then weekends come, I was doing my wedding. So like I was never, ever home. And my heart just broke because I'm like, I'm doing this for you. And then I realized not really, because yes, it's for them ultimately, but at the same time, you need to have a balance so that you're still focusing on your kids, on your family life, on your love life, on you. So it's about managing everything. So I know that, okay, around my birthday, I'm not going to be doing any work. So I know that, okay, I'm not going to take on any new clients by the middle of June. My birthday is early July. I know there's certain projects I won't take on certain times. So and I'll make the announcement, right? So I kind of I kind of give my clients the opportunity to say, hey, if you want to do this, do it by X amount of dates. And that's me budgeting my time to know that, okay, I'm not going to be doing any work this week. So let me get it all in before, or, just to help you manage it. So I think you have to plan for self-care. It's not something you should just do when you have a breakdown or when you're tired. Plan for it. I try to give myself, like, on Sundays, like a Sunday afternoon, that's when, like, I just kind of put my phone on airplane mode and I just kind of sit down, I watch TV and eat ice cream. That's actually my way of, like, relaxing.
There is nothing wrong with that. That's good to me.
Instagram, nothing. Yeah. And I think it depends on how much self-care you need to, right? Like, I'm a pretty cookie. So, and plus I have a lot of support from my family. So some people may not have that option, right? So there's different ways that you have to go about it, but it has to be a factor, because if you stress yourself out and burn yourself out, you're not good to anything or anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And those kids need us.
They do. Oh, they do. I know you know.
Yes, I know all about that.
Yeah. And you have to be there for them, because, like, you're really all they have in the end. So that's, like, top priority, and then everything else has to work around that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now, if they wanted to work with you, affectionately known as Sue, how can they find you? Like, where are you? Social media, email? Let us know.
Yeah. Okay. So my social media, my Instagram and Facebook is at Sue Knows Business, and my Twitter, I'm never on there. And my email is sueknowsbusiness@gmail.com. I am changing that, but I'll still have access to my Gmail. And my website is www.sueknowsbusiness.com. It's a great resource center. I have an actual section called resources, where I post loans and grants and different things kind of going on that can help entrepreneurs. So yeah, that's essentially it. If anybody has any questions, they can feel free to send me a DM, send me an email, book a consultation. I do offer 15 minutes info sessions where we can talk about any services and things that you might need from me.
Awesome. So that's amazing, because people love free. So they'll,
yeah, and I stick to those 15 minutes. So yeah, no joke.
Right? You better tell them, they better tell you everything they need to tell you in that 15 minutes.
Right? I talk quickly, man. So get it all out, cover it in the 15 minutes. Yeah. So yeah.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for your time. All the information you provided was super valuable. I know my audience is going to love it.
Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. So I'll put all the links in the description box.
Yes.
And thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Claire. You too. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
Everyone.
Okay, take care. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to another great episode. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, as all these things help to keep the podcast alive. Take care. Until next time.